Ah, well, how's it going, everybody? It's been just, a small minute, and wanted to sit here and do episode 12. What? Episode 12. Oh my gosh. Uh, welcome. Welcome to the Vision Inside, where the only way out is the way in. My name is Delori Gomes, joining you semi live from the patio, where there are no scripts, no cue cards, no flashy lights, no expensive cameras, just a small town chick from Kauai, um, who has definitely been pulled out from under, one day at a time, one phone call at a time, one text message at a time, one rehab at a time, one prayer at a time, one podcast at a time. I have been pulled out from under. And I'd like to welcome. If you're just joining us, welcome. I can't say that enough. I'm really glad you're here. I'm stoked that you're here. My only hope and goal is that you would find something within the previous podcast, or maybe you find something tonight that will just help you stay. Yeah, just stay one more day. Uh, for the rest of you and the rest of me, I guess, right? The Vision Movement. Welcome back. Welcome back again to episode 12. Um, I'm gonna dig into something tonight that has been weighing heavy on my heart, I guess you could say. Um, and it's not easy. It's not easy for me to talk about. It's never easy for me to talk about anything about my life. Literally, to be absolutely vulnerable and raw and semi unfiltered, um, really give you a huge look into my life. And before I even get further into it, I just put out yet again just a few more disclaimers, right? I have no college degree in psychology or any kind of clinical area. There are no letters at the end of my name. I don't come from any religious background, or any of that. Again, it's just me and a microphone, a laptop, and a soundboard. I have no coaching experience. I'm still working on my plosives. So sometimes if you hear the B and the P explode, it's because I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm still learning. I am super open to being criticized, and critiqued, and snippets of this podcast or any previous podcast being cut out and made to sound in a negative manner, or I might seem to be talking down to a group of people, and that is absolutely not the case. I am sitting here to share my life as raw and as vulnerable as God see fit. And I'm not afraid, excuse me, to talk about God, uh, that higher power, that force, that creative intelligence, the universe that was absolutely the one that has pulled my life out from under and continues to do so for as much as I seek and I tap into that power on a daily basis. So, what I wanted to get into tonight was it's just a nasty. It's a nasty topic in my life. Uh, every day is a new day, right? Every day is a new day. Where I get to stand out in my yard and seek this will of a power greater than myself in my life, and I seek the will of God in my life, and I do my best to not do my life from a place of being so willful, but from a place of being willing and being led. And so, with being led comes this degree of faith and belief that I must have. I must, or I'm just surviving. right? Like I'm just here, and I don't want to just be here on this earth without purpose. So, and it's that thing called acceptance. Yeah, it's that thing called acceptance where I have agreed, right? I have agreed due to circumstances and situations around and in my life, I have agreed that they are true. And there's a component of acceptance, right? There's a component of acceptance that uh, not many people talk about and not many people are willing to acknowledge. I hear it a lot, right? Like, oh, and it's a part of the Amazing Serenity prayer that I have definitely adopted and it's part of my life today. It says to accept the things that I cannot change. Excuse me. A lot of times I often overlook the part where sometimes I need to accept you. I need to accept things, places, institutions, principles, right? Principles of other people. I need to accept those things for exactly who and what they are not. Yeah, what if I told you? What if I told you? And I could be wrong. I've been wrong many, many times before. This is true in my life. What if I told you that I'm going to go with 96? 96%, 96% of the things in my life throughout the 4.5 decades of my life. What if I told you that those events, situations, circumstances, people, places, things, institutions were all false? What if I told you that they never happened? Well, you might swear at me, right? You might swear at me because I surely swore at myself. Yeah? Big old F word. Like, wow. Well, what do you mean they're not real? Well, what if I told you that because I had failed to accept the things, people, places, institutions, principles, I had failed to accept them for what they are not. I lived my life the way that I lived my life. I lived my life in defense. I lived my life 10 steps ahead of you. I lived my life in delusion. I lived my life saying that I don't like people. I don't like to be in crowds where really, if I can't control the outcome, I'm not going to go. Yeah, because if I can't control the outcome, then that would require me to have faith. That would require me to have belief in something other than me. So if I can't depend on me, then I'm just not going to go. Yeah, and I have evidence. This is horrible, but I have evidence that I have lived my life based on delusional things, delusional thoughts, delusional circumstances. Yeah, things that I have made up in my head, things that I think you think about me, things that I think about you. Ooh, things that I think I believe I think about you. I have lived my life that way. And it's such a scary and an interesting place to really sit and marinate in that. A really classic example, and I've talked about this in a previous cast, right? Like we were kicking back. This is what you said, and this is what I heard. You know where when I was just just a little girl, when I was a younger kid, my my parents never told me, at least to my recollection, my parents never told me that I was stupid or that I would never amount to anything. What they did do or what they didn't do um, was show the affection and the nurture and the attention that I thought I wanted. And I thought I wanted all of those things because everyone else was getting all of those things. And see, even that word, right? Oh, everybody else, those absolute words, always, you never, you should. I, I don't know how much of you um, lived your life that way. I certainly have. Yeah. Why can't you? You should be. Why can't you just fill in the blank? You should be fill in the blank. And I say those things, and I still do sometimes. I don't as much. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the vision inside, right? For taking a lot of inventory on myself and making a conscious choice to behave different. Um, live my life that way of why can't you? Right? Why can't you? And just by saying that out loud, why can't you? I hear the word expectation, right? I hear the word expectation, not acceptance, for 1 second. I hear the word expectation, and how I've lived my life with the many relationships with people, yeah, boyfriends and my siblings, my parents, aunties and uncles, classmates, teacher student, like those kind of relationships, right? Like how I lived my life from a place of lies. Lies. Yeah, and if I sit and if I sit and I ask myself, right? Because I didn't learn behavior from not learning it, right? Like I was taught to behave a certain way because of the way that I thought that you thought of me. Oh my gosh. Like all the way back to preschool time. All the way back. And you know, let's just be real about it, you guys. Um I'm going to be 47 here in a hot minute. And that is a really long time to live my life in this a state of being unconscious, of being asleep. And like what a trip to take a look back. To take a look back where because there was lack, and I'm just gonna call it for what it is. There was lack in my home, right? Like humble beginnings. Going back to the Vision Inside episode 1, humble beginnings, where we didn't have much in the home, and you know, I don't know if you guys did any of this, but I sought attention, whether it was good or bad. I seeked it. I sought it. Seeked. I don't know if that's even a real word. Sought it. I sought attention, whether it was good or bad. And so I realized and I learned really quick that if I behaved negatively, I would get attention. And if I was a quote unquote good girl, I would get looked over. It would just get glossed over. Like, oh, you know, okay, good. And that was that. Um, and I wanted more attention, and I wanted more attention, and I wanted more attention. And eventually, yeah, eventually when I get older, and I've shared this too before, right? Like I am very crafty. I'm very crafty. I can be super manipulative, and my superpower is the very thing that you're listening to, which is my voice. And over the course of my life, how I learned to use those behaviors to my advantage. And and again, coming to the reality of where I am today, where I'm just surviving in this world, and I don't want to not be here anymore without purpose. I lived my life way too long to just be here as the living dead. Really, the living dead, literally the living dead. And so it kind of sometimes circumvent, kind of find the long way home, right? So I'm share some current events, and I might miss a timeline here and there, but it really doesn't matter because God exists outside the realm of time. It's me and my finite mind that creates this thing called time, because it's the only way that if you got a better way, right on. I haven't figured that out yet. It's the only way that I can piece things together, right, as they are placed in front of me, and sometimes sometimes I gotta write these little notes down, right? And I gotta stuck them up on the whiteboard because I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they mean. Like somebody said something to me and it just really rubbed me the wrong way. Like you ever have that happen to you, or people say something and you just get like oh my god, like it just repulses you, right? Like it makes me, it's a knee-jerk reaction. And from what I understand, again, I could be wrong. I have no clinical background. I don't have a degree, like blah, 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 all those things. I don't have it. uh, to my best knowledge, that's called trauma. Yeah, and when you, I'll just say you, not you, no get nuts, yeah, no get offended. When you, the world, say certain things and I get triggered, okay? And there was for a really long time I did not like those words, the word trigger and the word trauma, because I had equated those two words with the victim vacuum. Ooh, victim vacuum. Not sure if I've talked about that before, but segue from the segue, the victim vacuum. Yeah, the some of us, I used to be one of those people, like some people who mope around, right? The ones who are waiting for you to ask, is something wrong? Do you need help with that? Are you okay? Victim vacuum. Like once I recognize that you need help and you're poor sorry sap dragging around your dirty diaper and I ask you for help, I ask you if you need help, and then you suck me in. Yeah, you suck me into this 45-minute long-winded conversation about the poor sorry state of your life. And by the time you are done sucking the life out of me, I have no life and I just want to go home and take a nap. I'm certain, I will put my entire bank account on it, that you were on some side of that coin at some point in your life, more times than we'd like to admit. Yeah, more times than I would like to admit. I have been the victim vacuum and I have been sucked into the victim vacuum. Hence healthy boundaries. Yeah, healthy boundaries. Again, I set boundaries so I don't hurt you. So the the trigger and the trauma. This is my life, my current reality, and it's raw and it's semi unfiltered. Oh, we're gonna go for it because I'm not here for me. Yeah, that was made clear to me. I don't know, a few years ago by an amazing human who also one day, one day soon, she'll be sitting in my patio as well. Like a lot of the amazing humans, 99% of the God Squad and the Fate Circle will be sitting right here in this patio. And I'm not sure how I'm going to decipher who's going to talk about what or what we're going to talk about, or if I'm even going to bust out the microphone. I truly don't know. But those amazing humans will be here in a few short weeks. Anyway, so the trigger and the trauma. This is what you said. This is how I react. Okay, so again, I'm not here for me. Yeah, I'm not here for me. I'm here to help somebody. I don't get to choose who I help when I help. I am just here to help somebody. And if I have been asked to sit in the minority on the firing line, to share my life in such a a global way, then I'm gonna do it. I'm just not willing to um, bulk, I guess you could say. I'm not willing to not do what is asked of me, because that thing that is asking is the very thing that pulled me out from under. And I do my best to say yes. So, gosh, just get to the point. Okay, here we go. A few months ago, I sit, right? I sit in an amazing group of friends, and we meet weekly, mostly because we sorry, little stutter. A bunch of us met during the pandemic, and there was a bunch of mutual friends who had introduced us to a bunch of mutual friends, and a lot of us have stayed connected over the years. We've taken trips together. Yeah, we've gone to Shasta together. We've taken road trips to Oregon. A bunch of them have flown out here to Hawaii. and we have stayed connected. And so a few weeks ago, maybe a couple moons ago, a friend of mine had told me that maybe it's time that I started forgiving myself. And before we continue, right, again, I'm just going to say it. If this is too much, that word forgiveness, we've already talked about acceptance, and we haven't come full circle yet. Forgiveness, acceptance, triggers, and trauma. Okay? Now's the time. Just hit stop. Just hit stop and come back. Come back when you're spiritually ready, or just stay. Yeah, stay. Find that courage inside of you, like I have found it inside of me to talk about this. So, right, it was an amazing human. He told me that it was my turn to start forgiving myself. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, Vision Movement. But sometimes I need permission. Yeah, like sometimes I need permission to feel my feelings. I had no idea that what I was needing or what I was even looking for was permission to start to forgive myself. Oh my gosh, well how we can do that? I have no idea how to forgive myself. That was unheard of growing up. Unheard of. Let alone feel my feelings. Are no, 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 no. Children are to be seen, not heard. Right? What goes on in the home stays in the home. We don't ever air out our dirty laundry anywhere, anywhere. We're we just don't. So it's extremely foreign to me to learn how to forgive myself, and so it was something that absolutely rocked me, and it was enough for me to sit and marinate in that, and I've been marinating in that for a minute. So a little while goes by, and I'm just not sure. These past few weeks of my life, maybe the last month, I felt like I have hit like some kind of a plateau, right? Like I'm not sure where I'm going. I know I'm going somewhere because my feet are moving, my heart is beating, my mind is thinking. I just don't know where I'm going. I really kind of just felt like I wasn't being led anywhere. And spoiler alert, you guys, like whether or not I am connected to God, my feelings, right? My feelings are irrelevant. Sit and chew on that for a second. My feelings, how I feel, good, bad, sad, mad, anxious, fearful, joyful, grateful. All of those things are irrelevant to whether or not me, not talking about you, me, Delori Gomes, those are irrelevant to whether or not I am connected to God. I am connected. Whether I like it or not, I am connected. I choose to believe that I have swallowed, digested, accepted that I am connected to God no matter what I am feeling. It's my choice to say out loud, here comes the victim vacuum. Oh, I've disconnected myself from God. I've walked away from God. I turned my back on God. God doesn't believe in me. I've done so much horrible and bad things in my life that God doesn't want anything to do with me. That is self. That is my doom and gloom mind. That is my victim vacuum attempt at the world to see me as the poor, sorry piece of shit that I think I am sometimes. Wow, don't talk so bad about yourself. You know what? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I need to say it as brutal as that. Do I know and understand that it's a lie? Absolutely, it's a lie. I am not a piece of shit. I don't belong under anyone's shoe. Yeah, I belong walking in my own shoes. I belong and deserve being addressed as my name, not any other name outside of my name. And I honestly and humbly believe that today, that I get to. I get to. So this whole victim vacuum, right? And we definitely segued from the segue, from the corner of the segue. A good friend of mine tells me about forgiveness. And what are we in? We're in September. Um, my mom's birthday is coming up. Uh, I have a birthday in October, and I'm gonna put it out there, right? Like you guys do it whatever you want with the snippets from this podcast. November 29th will be 24 years of continuous sobriety. That includes weekends, holidays, births, deaths, anniversaries of other people's deaths, uh, Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. Oh my gosh, New Year's Eve. Oh my gosh, New Year's Eve. 24 years of continuous sobriety. Tonight it's September 14th, 2025, and I'm sitting out in my patio. And I get to do this casting late at night. I live right across the street from tennis courts, and like pickleball is real. The pickleball movement is real, and they don't stop playing right up until 10 o'clock. So I get to do these things late at night. Anyway, so there's this whole lineup of events happening, and the body remembers. Yeah, I have an amazing friend that likes to remind me the body remembers that even though my mind likes to push down, stuff away, shove back into the crevice, the deep crevices of my soul, my body remembers, and that is trauma. Yeah, that is trauma. That sometimes when you talk to me, you trigger a certain part or a certain era of my life that is unhealed and it's untreated, and I need to come to a place of acceptance. So I was just feeling a little spicy. Yeah, we'll just call it what it is. I was feeling a little spicy, and I was talking with a friend a few nights ago, and you know there I'm get into the not the deep female anatomy, but I'm gonna get into that. Okay, like if you can relate, great. If you can't, great. Because there's something or somewhere else in this podcast that I pray. I do. I pray that you can take away and apply in your life. So I was talking with a friend a few nights ago, and we were just, shooting the breeze and talking about what we were going to do the next day. And I hadn't seen, I hadn't seen an OB in 5 years. Okay, like, oh my God, there she goes. She did. No, I'm just being real about it. I hadn't seen the woman doctor in 5 years, and just like whatever, like I just haven't seen one. Okay, like I would imagine that there are some people out there, because I was one of those too, like we haven't been to the dentist in years. Why? Because we're so afraid of what you're going to tell me. I am so afraid of what you're going to tell me, um, that I choose not to have faith. I choose not to believe. So I rely on myself and I make decisions based on self, which 5-10 years from now put me in a position to be hurt. Anyway, so I was telling her, like, I gotta go see the OB tomorrow, and I haven't done it in a few years. And here's the other component of that. Yeah, here's the other component. So I had already mentioned, like, I'll be 47 in October, and the chick you're listening to is in perimenopause, and I have had symptoms, I guess, signs, symptoms, whatever you want to call it, for, I don't know, maybe the last 6-7 months of my life. And I didn't know that I couldn't see. I didn't know that it was a thing. Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. Um, so I was telling her, I had some blood work done a little while ago, and this was the next step. And I remember sharing with her that, the only experience I have with this part of my life is watching my mom go through it. And I remember, I remember the day so clear. We were coming out of Kekaha, and we had just passed Waimea Plantation, and my mom pulled a car over. Like she was in some kind of dizzy spell. She was having a panic attack, and she was just sweating so profusely. And she pulled over and she opened the door and she just started puking on the side of the road. And I had no idea what was going on with her. Right? I really can't tell you what year that was. I smoked so much weed sometimes I cannot remember. My brain cells have been fried. Anyway, that was a little raw and uncut. Um, so she's puking her brains out. And from that day, I think for like maybe a good 5, 6 months, like my mom was unmedicated. I don't know if that's what caused the chemical imbalance in her. I truly don't. Um, what I do know is that she was not medicated for a good 6 months after that. So the vertigo was real, the dizziness was real, the panic attacks was real, the anxiety attacks were very, very real. Those were the years of my life where every day I would come home not knowing who was on the other side of that door. And again, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if she knew what was going on with her. Um, but it was a very, very interesting time in my life. And I'm talking to my friend a few nights ago and I paused. Right? Like there was a really deep moment of silence that just happened. And I said, oh my God, the only experience I know with going through this phase of my life is connected to a traumatic experience. And who would have thought, yeah, who would have thought that just a conversation with a friend where she had said something that triggered a memory for me that was connected to trauma. And again, you guys, like for a long time, those words, trigger, trauma, acceptance. Oh my gosh. Just just gag me with a spoon 5 times. You know, like and and I sat there and I sat and I'm like, "Oh my gosh. I don't know any other way." That's the only experience that I have. Okay, so I have that conversation and the immediate Monday, yeah, I was driving, I was going out for a surf, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and she tells me, like, just random, right? And the God Squad, they know the ins and outs of my life, and I'm not here to share those long ins and outs of my life, not tonight anyway. She tells me, you should really take a look at that shame in your heart. Okay, so now I have two post-it notes, right? I have the thing about forgiveness. I don't know what that means. Foreign to me, absolutely alien, up on the post-it board. And then I have a friend tell me you should really look at that shame in your heart. And that word shame is gross. Yeah, the word shame is gross. It is married to the word guilt. Yeah, guilt is the negative feeling about what I did, and shame is the negative feeling about who I am. And you know what, you guys, like sometimes I have no idea who the hell I am. Yeah, there are many, many times throughout the month, sometimes during the week, I have no idea who I am. And thank you, God, for the phone. Thank you, God, for prayer. Thank you, God, for people in my life who love me in the broken places that I have an absolute hard time loving myself. And if you don't have people like that in your life, you need to go and find them. They're out there. They're out there. Everybody was created for somebody. So she tells me that, and I'm like, oh, like, okay, like that kind of just like glossed over, right? I was on my way to the ocean, and my mind was a little somewhere else. So I take that and right, we make a note, put it up on the post-it board. And a few days later, I'm sitting here, right in this spot. Yeah, a lot of revelation has happened right here in this patio. Yeah, a lot of growth and a lot of birth has also spiritual birth has happened in this patio as well. Um, I was sitting here and I was talking to her, same person. I was talking to her and I was sharing with her about the conversation I had had with somebody else about the only experience I know with perimenopause and menopause is tied to that traumatic experience with my mother. And I was talking to her about it, and I said, holy shit. I was like, oh my gosh, that shame in my heart. That shame in my heart is connected to the trauma. And I have been so afraid, deep down, unconsciously not knowing because I had shoved it so deep. I had shoved it so deep that I didn't want to look at it. Yeah. Unconsciously not gone to see the OB in quite a few years, probably longer than 5. Because deep down inside of me, I had chosen to forgot. I had forgotten. Yeah. And sometimes for me, like, forgetting is a defense mechanism for something that I don't want to look at. And I shove them way deep, way deep, way down in the back crevice of my last rib in the dark corner. I shove them over there. Please don't look, because it hurts. Let alone, please don't touch it. It's still raw and unhealed. Please. Let's just not talk about it. Well, that's not my calling. We could sit here and talk about them live. So I tell her, like, that's the shame. That's the shame. I have no other explanation as to why I haven't gone to the doctor. Because once I acknowledge and accept that this is the phase of my life, the only experience I know is that of my mother's. And I stood out in my yard, and I'm just gonna be way open about exactly what I said. Again, I'm not here for offend anybody. Again, this is my life. This is the raw, uncut. This is my calling. I stood in my yard and I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, like, my mom has been dead. God rest her soul. She's been dead for over a year. Yeah, and I've been brought back. I have been brought back from reality and taken to this place of my life years ago, over 2 decades ago. Why? Like, I just felt like, so it was so unfair. It was so unfair. Here's my entitlement. I have been so blessed to do a lot of inside work, to accept my mother for what and who she wasn't. Yeah, I spent a good year and a half, maybe 2021, 2022. I spent a really good chunk of my life when she was still alive, doing my best to accept her for who she was, and to accept her for knowing and believing that she did the best she could with what she had. Well, if you're a bratty brat like I am, if you have any entitlement issues like I do, if you're very, very prideful like I am, wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And I wanted more of the apologies. I wanted this is just kind of sickening to say. I wanted to hear and watch her cry some more. Yeah, and it's a sickness, right? It's a sickness inside of me to want to watch you suffer some more. Totally negating the fact that you had already suffered also decades of your life and sacrificed so many decades of your life for me. Pretty sick, yeah. I don't know, it's sick to me. Makes me sick to my stomach sometimes. Knowing that throughout the past few years of my life, part of that was part of the journey to acceptance. And accepting my mom for who and what she was not. What she couldn't give. What she was incapable of giving. Right? Like the word capacity. It's like I don't know, I think we talked about this earlier too. I am if I've said this before, I am a professional body surfer. I have been absolutely blessed to sit on a global scale. I get to, yeah, I get to compete professionally in that manner. And, whew, so there was a little pause right there. The word capacity. Yeah, the word capacity. The ability to hold things, I guess, would be my best recollection from the good old dictionary. So if I gave you a pair of fins, and some of you probably can, right? Some of you probably can, but there are some of you in the vision movement. If I gave you a pair of fins and I sent you out at Sandy's, you don't have the capacity to be in that water at that level of experience. Okay, like that's what I mean capacity. It's not that you cannot, it's that you cannot. And my mom didn't have the capacity to give what I was expecting. And because she couldn't give what I was expecting, I lived my life the way that I lived my life. And here we are. Yeah, going back to the part where I was sharing with my friend and telling her, that the shame within me is connected. It's connected to that trauma. And here's the amazing part, yeah. That in order for me, I don't know, it's just for me, in order for me to become and grow into the woman that God wants me to be, I have to let go of the woman that I thought I was. I have to let go of those old traumatic experience that I have come to believe is my experience. Yeah, and it goes back to the part I said earlier. What if I told you that 96%, that's a really high percentage, 96% of your life, a lot of the events, situations, circumstances didn't happen. That nobody ever told you that you was stupid. That's just what I heard. That's just what I heard. It's not actually what you said. You never said, I don't love you. You just never said it. Not because you couldn't, but because you couldn't. That's some harsh reality, you guys. That wasn't just my reality. It was probably thousands and thousands and thousands of other people's reality too. And I'm over here living my life like I'm something, right? Like I'm something. And really, I am a grain of sand. Yeah, I am a grain of sand on God's infinite beach. And without you, there is no me. And if there's no me and no you, then there's no us. And again, I wasn't meant to walk this earth by myself. Yeah, I wasn't. So, tying all of that really, really, really spicy stuff together. Yeah, that if I don't let go of the experience that is connected to trauma, that was triggered by a friend, that was cookie crumbed by another friend who said you should look at the shame in your heart, where the seed was planted from a friend that said, I think it's time you start forgiving yourself, I would have never come to the place of acceptance that I came to just a few nights ago. Just a few nights ago. And when that friend told me, I picked a date, right? Like tonight is September 14th. 10 days ago. 10 days ago. September 4th is when my year started. What I haven't shared with you, I'm going to share with you now. I've shared about it before, right? That sometime in January, because I do go to church. I do. I don't go religiously. Let's not get it twisted. I go to church to seek spirituality. I go to church because my mind is open to other people's beliefs. And if I can take a bite on and accept principles from somewhere else that work and I get to apply them in my life, guess what? I can do them. So this year, 2024, 2025, Vision Sunday, what God had asked me for was me. And I had kept it to myself. I had kept it to myself because I was afraid. Yeah, I was. I was afraid of giving myself to God. 1, I didn't know what that means. 2, I still don't know what that means. 3, what the hell does that mean? Yeah, what the hell does that mean? So a few weeks ago, in the Amazing Circle of Friends, I had shared that openly. I had shared that openly because I was spicy, super irritated, super irritated. And I just couldn't put my finger on it. So my year started on September 4th, 2025. And just a few nights ago, I had come into acceptance of who and what I am, who and what I am not, what my body is doing, what my body isn't doing. That I'm absolutely grateful that I'm not chemically imbalanced. And again, like, I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I am grateful that I am not chemically imbalanced. I have a daughter that is type 1 diabetic, and I have a son who is high functioning autistic. I don't pray for patience and acceptance. It is living and breathing right on the other side of that screen door. And I get to, right? Like, I've been chosen. I have been chosen to mother these children. Like, I have been given the kuleana and have been taught the capacity to love and nurture them. Because I didn't come from that. I didn't come from that. I can't say it enough. There's just so many ways to cut the pie. We're going to end up with the same piece, you know? And just a few days ago, I decided that I was going to embrace who and what I am and absolutely start to fall in love with whose I am. That's some heavy stuff, you guys. That's some heavy awareness, acknowledge, and acceptance in my life. Yeah, that it it took me 9 months. 9 months to acknowledge that truth in my life. And I've come to a place where I am who I am. My body's changing. My mind is changing. My heart is changing. You know what else is changing is you. The belief in who you are is changing. The way you walk is changing. Because the person on the other side of this mic believes in you. The other person on the other side of this mic has a small kind fear being the minority opinion. Being this chick talking into a microphone, like, absolutely vulnerable about where I am at today. And so I've decided to embrace it. I've decided to, one day at a time, pray for acceptance. Yeah, pray for acceptance of that doesn't have to be my experience. That the only experience I have with this phase of my life doesn't have to be my experience. And the moment that I decided that that wasn't going to be my experience, it is not, and it won't be my experience. I am absolutely grateful to be here today. I am absolutely grateful that God has chosen me to be a wife, to be a mother, to be a supervisor, to be a sister, to be a world champion body surfer. What? Yeah? To be employed, to be employable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I highly encourage you before I hit the stop button, I highly encourage you to take a look at all of the amazing things that you have done today. Yeah, like not so much never mind of the things that we did so shitty, because there are many things that I did today that was shitty. I'm also really prone and susceptible to picking up the beat hammer. I don't know if you have a beat hammer. I have a beat hammer, and it sits right over there. And it's so easy for me to pick up the negative thoughts, the old tapes. You can leave me anyway. I'm not good enough. All of those things. It's so easy for me to pick up. And I often pick up that beat hammer when I engage in that game of this is what you said and this is what I heard. Do my best every day to combat that stuff. So take a look at all of the things that you have done well. Yeah, maybe just 5. 5. The things that you have done well. Even if it's just washing the dishes. Because you know what? It's not just dishes. Sometimes it's a daunting task in my house, okay? The things that I have done well today. It's kind of stark raving what happens when I do that over a course of a week. And then I do it over a course of 2 weeks. And over a course of 3 weeks. And then a month. I actually start smiling. I actually start walking without looking at the ground the whole time. What a trip. I might even put the post-it note back up on my mirror that says you're amazing. What a life. What a life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Vision Movement, boys and girls, pets and fish, another night, another mic. I'm so blessed that you've decided to stay, that you've joined me yet again on a super vulnerable journey. Yeah, where the only way out is the way in. My name is Delori Gomes, episode 12 of The Vision Inside.